The cost of success is often paid in the currency of resentment. We are not talking about simple admiration. We are talking about corrosive subterranean jealousy, the silent predator that attempts to dismantle your achievements from the shadows. The danger is that this emotion rarely presents itself as overt hostility. Instead, it takes the form of sophisticated social sabotage, masked by feigned support or calculated indifference. Ignorance of this psychological calculus leaves you vulnerable. You must learn to differentiate true support from strategic toxicity. Jealousy is a signal, a confirmation that you are operating at a level that disrupts the equilibrium of those around you. It confirms your ascent, but it also marks you as a target. In the next 8 minutes, we dissect the 5 definitive non-negotiable signs someone is secretly weaponizing their envy against you. And crucially, we cover the high-leverage strategic response necessary to neutralize the threat. Chapter 1. The subtle underminer, the complisult. Sign 1. The first sign is the complisult, a tactical communication designed to deliver praise and insult in the same breath. This is emotional arbitrage at its finest. They must acknowledge your success to maintain social propriety, but they cannot allow that success to stand unblemished. They achieve this through minimizing language or framing your achievement as luck or an anomaly, rather than skill or sustained effort. Example. You launch a successful business. They say, "Wow, that's great, especially since you've always struggled with focus. I guess anyone can catch a trend if they stick with it long enough." The compliment validates the event. The qualifier diminishes your agency. They are establishing an implicit narrative. Your success is fragile, accidental, or due to external factors, never internal merit. Another manifestation is the backhanded comparison. They praise you relative to a lower standard. That presentation was sharp, much better than most of the garbage presented today. The underlying mechanism is simple: psychological deflection. By injecting doubt, they attempt to reduce your perceived value, thus maintaining their own fragile self-worth. A genuine supporter elevates you. A secret rival attempts to anchor you back to the median. Chapter 2. The calculated dismissal, minimization and attribution error. Sign 2. Sign number 2 is the cold shoulder applied to your achievements, the calculated dismissal. When you share a significant win, their reaction is disproportionately muted, or they immediately pivot the conversation away from you. Genuine happiness for another person requires empathy and a temporary suspension of one's own ego. The jealous individual cannot afford this cost. Instead, they engage in radical minimization. They might change the subject by bringing up a tangentially related but ultimately distracting topic. The attribution error. This is a cornerstone of covert jealousy. When you succeed, they attribute the win to external unstable causes, luck, timing, connections. When they succeed, it is attributed to internal stable causes: skill, intelligence, hard work. Conversely, when you experience a setback, the script flips. They attribute your failure to internal flaws, laziness, poor judgment, and their own failures to external bad luck. Observe their reaction to your failures. A secretly jealous person often exhibits a slight, almost imperceptible surge of relief or satisfaction, known in psychological circles as Schadenfreude. They may feign concern, but their eyes betray the momentary correction in their internal status hierarchy. Chapter 3. The hypercritical spotlight, excessive scrutiny. Sign 3. This sign manifests as disproportionate and relentless scrutiny directed at your methods, ethics, or processes. They become the self-appointed auditor of your life. Since they cannot ignore your success, they attempt to delegitimize the path you took to achieve it. This is the hypercritical spotlight. Every decision is questioned, every expenditure is suspect. They are looking for the flaw, the crack in the facade, the ethical gray area they can leverage to feel superior. If you are successful, it must be because you cut corners, cheated, or somehow exploited the system. They may ask invasive questions disguised as concern. Are you sure you should be investing that much? Isn't that a little aggressive? This isn't helpful advice. It's a strategic attempt to sow seeds of doubt in your judgment and make your continued success feel tenuous. They often resort to selective truth-telling, highlighting minor errors while ignoring major accomplishments. This constant negative filtering warps the perception of your overall trajectory, both for you and for external observers. The goal is character assassination by 1,000 small paper cuts. Chapter 4, The Strategic Retreat, Sudden Distance. Sign 4. As your success accelerates, the jealous individual performs a strategic psychological retreat. This is sign 4, the sudden distance. They were close when you were struggling, offering companionship in mediocrity. But as the gap widens, maintaining proximity becomes psychologically painful for them, forcing them to confront their own perceived stagnation. They cannot tolerate being a bystander to your escalating achievement. The distance manifests as ignored calls, delayed responses, or canceled plans with vague, non-committal excuses. They may even start bonding more closely with people who are demonstrably less successful than you, seeking an environment where they feel status secure. Crucially, this retreat is often justified internally by manufactured grievances. They invent reasons why you are the problem. You've changed. You're too busy. You've become arrogant. This self-deception protects their ego while providing a socially acceptable reason for the separation. You haven't changed. The threat level you represent to their ego has. Recognize this distance not as rejection, but as a confirmation of your elevation. Chapter 5. Handling the calculus, the predator's response. The strategy. Once you have identified the source of corrosive envy, the goal is not confrontation, which only legitimizes their status as a rival. The goal is strategic neutralization. Strategy 1. Starve the emotion. Jealousy feeds on information and proximity. Immediately enforce a strict information diet. Cease sharing details of your goals, progress, investments, or personal victories. Present a neutral, impenetrable facade. Do not give them material to minimize, scrutinize, or sabotage. They thrive on the perceived injustice of your life. Deny them the data that fuels their internal narrative. Strategy 2. The gray rock method. When interactions are unavoidable, become boringly non-reactive. Offer minimal, factual responses that drain the emotional charge from the conversation. If they try a compliceult, simply respond, "Thank you for the observation," and change the subject. Do not defend, explain, or justify. Defense is permission for continued psychological warfare. Strategy 3. Strategic mirroring. If the relationship is necessary, e.g., a family member or close colleague, subtly reflect their behavior patterns back to them. If they minimize your achievements, minimize the importance of the areas they prioritize. This is a cold, calculated move designed to communicate non-verbally that their passive aggression has been recognized and is being reciprocated strategically. This often forces them into a tactical retreat due to the discomfort of being psychologically mirrored. Ultimately, jealousy is a powerful validation of your trajectory. It is the shadow cast by your light. The most potent response is not revenge or confrontation, but continued relentless achievement. Your success is their chronic affliction. Let your progress be the consequence they cannot escape, while you maintain strategic psychological distance. Understand the calculus and you neutralize the threat.